All right, we are recording now. I just want to let you guys know for those of you that showed up and are here listening, we appreciate you coming out. Today we're going to be showing off where we are right now with the public alpha release version, as well as link it to the website so that you guys can hop on there and play around with it if you want. Help us find bugs. We know there are bugs. We know there's things missing. The mobile version is pretty jacked right now. We'll be focusing on the next couple days and getting that in order. A couple things. Right now, it only supports MetaMask. We'll be implementing Trust Wallet and Wallet Connect in the very near future as well. And again, we know mobile's broken. We'll be working on getting that fixed in the next couple days. But we said we wanted to get this out to you guys in 2 weeks. So here we are at the 2 week mark. And, we wanted to go ahead and show you the progress we've made and made it publicly available. We have made some improvements and additions from the last version. So actually, we made a lot of improvements and additions. They're just mostly back end bug fixes and stuff like that. We've made a few improvements to the front end as well. Get the screen share. But, way too much stuff open. Okay. So here you can see we do have the swap live. It's hosted on moonswap.digital. You can reach that just by slapping that URL in, and also let me figure out which one of these 100 things I have open. Website, and I'll go ahead and update it on the website as well. Now, from the website, you can also reach the swap right here at the top. You swap alpha. That'll take you right to the swap there. Okay. And I'll go ahead and show you guys a transaction and the swap function actually working. Again, I know many of you, if you've been following us, have already seen this, but we'll go ahead and demonstrate it again here. For those of you that haven't seen, we'll sign in with MetaMask. I apologize for those of you in the recording. I didn't realize before, I guess because of security settings, it doesn't actually pick up the wallet in the recording when I do it. But when you see my mouse up here messing around, that's me playing with my wallet. BNB, and you see here now it reflects your balance of BNB. It's a small addition we added. Go ahead and search TokyoMoon. I'm still working on getting the dialog box here with all the custom token info, but that'll be implemented soon as well. We'll be pushing updates to this thing all week long, so keep checking back, and we'll keep putting updates in the Telegram as well with each patch that we do to add new features and fix bugs and things like that. So you can see we got the TokyoMoon here. Go ahead and do a swap of point better slippage.
You can probably show the reverse swap as well, some guy, while you're there.
You mean as far as updating the price reverse? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, before in the first versions we showed you guys, you probably didn't even realize, but we didn't have these. It was just updating from up here. So now you can put in your amount of TokyoMoon. Auto update how much you need to swap for BNB as well. I don't know why it gave me an error right this second, but that's one thing that we added in. Again, a lot of this is back end stuff that you guys don't even see visually, but it's tons of bug fixes and little tweaks and things like that. We're still smoothing out the math on a couple equations, but we have been making good progress each day. We're figuring out more, getting more fixed, pushing more updates. So again, all week long, we'll let you guys know in the Telegram as soon as we add a new feature and patch it into the live branch, and you guys can hop in and check it out for yourselves. Did anybody have any questions as far as where we are right now with the DEX, the swap, or anything like that?
Yeah, I have a quick question. So what have you implemented with in regards to security? Like how are you going to keep it safe from like being hacked, the wallet being touched and all
So basically, all this code does is just transfer information that's already publicly available on the BSC scan uh, website. So we're not actually like we don't have access by connecting your wallet. It doesn't give us any kind of access to your seed phrase or anything like that. All it does through the Web3 connectivity is say, hey, you want to communicate with this smart contract or this router, and then it just passes information, receives information back. Super's actually been working. He can tell you a little bit more about it as far as we're, we're going to be wrapping the code, and we added some new security features to the back end as well. Super, are you here? He may have had to step away for a moment. But there's basically by connecting your wallet, there's no real security issues that could even arise from that. We
My mic was muted.
Okay, yeah. You want to tell them a little bit more about the security stuff you put in the back end there?
Yeah, I wrapped the entire code with semantic security. It's the same as like the antivirus type stuff that you can get. And what that does, it audits the code before you make it publicly available, because you got to compile it, shrink it down, and it will tell you if there's any loopholes, anything wrong with our code that maybe would hacker could get through or something. But even if they did, I mean, I don't think they could, but even if they did get into our actual site, there's nothing they could do anyways that they can't. Any information they can get off our site, they can publicly see on BSC scan. So
Basically, the
it's
only information they see pass through is like wallet addresses, contract addresses, and amounts, variables, and things like that. But there's no, we don't store any kind of personal information that would be, that would connect back to you, other than maybe wallet transactions in our actual database. So even if the whole website was compromised, there's no personal information or anything like that, no seed phrases or anything of that sort that gets stored directly on our swap.
Yeah, I understand that part. But when you hear about people leaving their PooCoin, the wallet on the PooCoin still connected, and also PancakeSwap, and people are coming in somehow. I don't know how they do it. I've not had it done to me, but I don't know how. But is this something different that you're doing that's that's going to help?
Okay, are you referring to like when you leave the website and you come back to the website later, you're still connected to that wallet? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
Okay, well that's a cookie. Those are internet cookies. That's what cookies do. They store your information so that they can, so that you can stay logged into something such as Facebook or Twitter or whatever. Those are all cookies. And if you notice, I don't know how savvy you are, but if you ever delete your internet history, you always have to log back into your websites. That's cookies. You're deleting your cookies, and that's anything that signs you in usually uses a cookie. But I am going to give you an option to delete cookies. If you don't want to stay logged in,
There's just an
you can
option to,
click like the
yeah,
box.
not store login, because you can
And,
see what he's talking about right here. If I come up here to the top of this site and I go to cookies, I delete moonswap.digital here, remove it, then I refresh the page. Now I'm signed out. So we could leave the option that if you just wanted to be auto signed out, you could do that, or just to not store a cookie at all, so that whenever you leave the page, you'll automatically have to log back in next time you visit it.
and this cookie is stored on your computer, not on ours. So just so we're clear on that as well.
Looks so good though.
And I know, obviously, I mean, I know for a fact we're not transferring or storing any data that could lead to your wallet being compromised, but we will in future builds once we get closer to your release, just to make everyone feel comfortable. We'll have the JavaScript and the web code audited as well, just to make sure that there aren't any vulnerabilities that may need to be brought up. But I'm confident that there's not at the moment. But like I said, we will get that done just to inspire confidence. All right. Anybody else have any questions about the swap or its current state, the things that it showed you? Okay, so up at the top here, we did also add this report a bug and feature request button. So if you do run into something that acts wonky or is not functioning as it should, You can hit report a bug. It'll bring you up to a form. You can just fill it out and submit it. You can submit as many as you like. We appreciate any feedback you guys give us, as well as the feature request button. Same thing. It'll bring you up to just a form, just a Google form. You fill it out. You can fill out as few or as many of these as you want. You can fill out multiple forms. As much feedback as we can get from you guys will be helpful, because that'll let us know what you guys want to see in this. Because like we said before, we're going to be building this thing from the ground up with you guys. So whichever features you guys want to see the most, we're going to be working our hardest to get those implemented first. And then we also have some really awesome things that we've been brainstorming about. Soup actually came up with the idea of kind of making this, once we build out the platform a bit, once we have the swap closer to a release version. You can see up here at the top, you have a profile button. Doesn't actually take you anywhere just yet, as we're still working on it. But it will eventually take you to a profile page. You can see all kinds of information about your wallet, the tokens you've hold, the losses and gains that you've had during those trades. We're talking about possibly even putting in like almost like a wallet tracking and auditing feature, where you could use that for tax purposes and information to make it a little easier, because I know it's crazy trying to figure out taxes, especially in BSC with all the trades and things that go on. So that's one thing we're looking to add in there, as well as kind of add like a social aspect to the site. We want to implement like on a per chart basis, like a live chat. It would kind of eliminate the need for Telegram. Once we build out the swap some more, and like I said, once we have this all just about ready for release version, we're gonna start adding in other things like live charts, and then like I said, a live chat box that'll be specifically for that token that you're viewing right there. Again, kind of just eliminating the step for Telegram for people that don't like using Telegram, don't have Telegram. They'll have a spot there where they can, communicate with other people that are also watching the same contract, maybe with the developers or whoever, just grab information about the project there in real time without the need for Telegram.
And also on the profile page, we're going to add like saved wallets, tracked wallets. Like maybe you have a certain person you pay a lot, you can just click on his wallet, put the amount in, you know, and it will automatically do it through your MetaMask, which MetaMask already does that. But we're trying to put everything right there on our site, just so you don't have to go nowhere else.
Yeah, and you can name them kind of like can already do in MetaMask. You can name each wallet. You can say like, hey, this is, you sign into your profile. You have saved addresses there. It just says Bob. You click that. You want to send Bob a BNB, send him a BNB, sign for it like you would any other transaction in your MetaMask, and it'll initiate that transfer for you. Kind of like an address book type deal. But that'll be, like I said, again, one of just the many features we're looking to add into the profile section, and to expand on that, kind of make it more of a social experience where you could choose information that you want to share and make public to other people. Maybe a list of tokens that you're watching at that time. If you have an investor, you like to follow them, you like to see what they're investing in, you can hop over to their profile if they choose to make that information public, and see tokens that they've either recently traded or that they're keeping an eye on, like a watch list, different things like that. Hey Matt, how you doing?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. Glad to see you.
Glad I got to swing by. It's been a busy night, man.
Yeah.
Been a busy night.
Yeah, well, we got it up. We got it live. The link's linked to the website now. TokyoMoon.digital. You can click the MoonSwap Alpha button. In case anybody you talk to is interested in seeing anybody from your group, you can come right here, or they can just do moonswap.digital right in the URL, and that'll bring us up to where we are currently with the build. And as we were, I think you might have jumped in here after we got started, letting you know we're going to be pushing more updates all week long. We'll do announcements in the Telegram with each larger patch that we push and the changes that came with it. But I think we'll make some good progress this week on getting the rest of the bugs smoothed out, and start working on some of these other features that we'd like to put in as well.
Security auditing I was speaking about, that took me a little longer than I anticipated, so that's kind of why we're feature lacking. I added that profile, and that's what I was working on, and then I decided to add the security, and That took me like 8 hours. It just kept giving me just problems. So that kind of cut into some time.
You can see, Matt, just since yesterday, we've got the now reflect your wallet balances when you pull up the tokens. These icons for these, we'll have these fixed. I'll have these fixed probably by tomorrow. Something we just kind of had on the easy fix, just something we kind of had on the back burner while we were working on other things. But we'll have the icons sorted out, and then again in the next day or two, I want to get the dialog box put in here for the custom token that you search for, displaying that's information. And then
The reason it's not displaying.
That's sick.
Go ahead, some guy. I thought you was done.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just saying that's sick, man. That's sick. That's good.
Yeah, it's coming along, man. We're making progress, and again, keep in mind we've only really been at this about 2 weeks. Now it's and we're a small team. It's just being super grinding out all the back end encoding work, and Dan's gonna be coming up with some awesome new graphics for us for the we're gonna be doing. This is not the final interface for those of you that are new here. This is just the bare bones functionality that we have built up right now. We're gonna be redoing the interface completely. It'll look a lot better, cleaner menus, and we'll have placeholders for the custom. Oh, some of the custom features that we're gonna be putting in.
That's awesome, man. Have you guys talked about your potential chat at all yet, or did I just spoil something?
Yeah, no, we actually were just talking about that. I think as you came in, putting the live chat in there with the charts. Something that we've actually already started playing with, and something we're looking to have in, definitely sooner than later. The live charts are really relatively easy to get those embedded, and then the chat we're working on now as far as getting that segmented per contract and etc.
That's sick. It's like, like yesterday, like before the AMA on my channel, I was like, what's unique? What do you guys got going on? And like, I know you were a little bummed later on because it was like, when you brought up the chat, I was like, oh, bro,
Yeah,
that was the thing. I like would have like added that extra salt and pepper on what you guys are doing, but I know it's like, it's a lot of work and you got a lot of shit going on and you're like trying to figure out the best game plan. I think personally that having a live chat alongside, and we were talking about this a bit yesterday, whether it's simply tied to a mask account and we wallet so people have an identity that isn't potentially a security threat, or whether you have an account and you're trying to like whatever you guys end up doing with that, I think is a really unique idea, because that comes down to like, yo, hey, on TokyoMoon, we're gonna go watch this token that just launched. We're just gonna hang out in the chat here. We're just gonna see how it plays out, whether we hold or whether we sell, and what do we do as a community. And that is massively missing on this space. I mean, Telegram generally does it as a, we're all in the Telegram and we know each other group, but it's kind of nice to be able to not have to have a Telegram account or anything and just go see what's going on with the token. I think that's a solid selling point. And so I know yesterday after we talked, Irish, who was here in the group, who's pretty well known in the space, and I'm building quite a relationship with him. I was like, hey, guess what? I'm like, this never got brought up, and I was like, it should have been, but they had a lot going on. They're trying to figure it out. He's like, oh fuck, man. He's like, because we talked about my project earlier, me and him. And I think I've mentioned to you about maybe a movie type token, et cetera, et cetera.
right.
And I might be bringing that back on the table. And I sat down and had a chat with him, and he was like, just on fire. He's like, the shit you're saying is like, holy fuck, we should do this. And I was like, hey, FYI, these guys mentioned this. And I was like, I wish they brought it up in the chat, because I'm like, that to me is totally unique. And he's like, oh my God. He's like, if they can do this, this is like 100% different. But, on his side, his big comment was like, look, it's very hard to implement in a lot of ways. And how do you make it work for all these users? And like what I told him was like, look, if they can set it up so that every time, let's say the first person joins a TokyoMoon graph chart and they say open chat, the chat opens, it's fine. This in there close. I'm like, and have
Exactly.
TokyoMoon on servers in the background with a million chats. But the second that somebody enters, it could automatically create a chat, propagate it, somebody's there, close it.
Yeah,
You know,
that's actually
user ever
exactly how it'll
realizing
work.
they're opening and closing a chat. Like that just
That's how
makes
we're doing it.
sense.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly.
and then
Right. So
it'll stop the chat'll if the chat starts maybe at like 10,000 market cap, if that goes up and then it drops back down to like 10,000, then the chat will probably go away, just to save on resources and stuff
oh
like that. But we ain't gonna keep the chat there forever. It's gonna be there, for like on the shit tokens or whatever, shit coin.
Well, really,
It'll
just
be
yeah.
there for a
when
little
a
bit.
user joins, I mean, it won't be that hard to set up so that whenever a user, basically, yeah, just basically like you said, almost 100%. When a user joins, it'll start an instance, of
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
chat and keep it running until there's no users in there, and then when there's no users, it'll automatically. That way, we're not eating up system resource. But yeah, that's actually a great understanding of how it'll work. That's
Yeah. I
exactly what
mean,
we're looking at.
that just makes sense to me. I'm not a developer programmer, but I think common sense takes a lot of things.
Yeah,
With
absolutely. Because
my
you couldn't keep a chat running for every single token that goes through
no,
BSC.
no,
There's no
you have
way.
like 4 million chats running with nobody in the background, and they're going to
Yeah,
serve money in like
yeah,
1 day,
exactly.
right? So I
And
mean, I think it makes sense, and you could probably be able to like save, uh, whatever database you're running. I'm pretty sure you could just log the last moments of chat, and the second somebody loads back in, it would just propagate the chat with the last known conversations, and they would never think like, oh, I opened this chat. They'd just be like, hey, is anyone in here? And they'd see conversation from maybe people who talk like hours before them. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's it's got a lot of potential, and Irish was like, holy fuck, I gotta think about this now. You're making my brain hurt. Because to him, he's
Yeah.
like, nobody does this. And I'm like, no, I know. I'm like, this is why it's a great idea.
And that's part of
And
what we
it's
were
like, fuck.
talking about, about wanting to bring in
Yeah.
all these aspects of, because like, especially for people that are new, it's so much you got to get used to using all these different charts, these swaps, and Telegram. Most people that haven't been involved in BSC, probably majority of them haven't really messed with Telegram. But you get involved in
Yeah.
the space, you got to get accustomed to using it. And some people, honestly, like me, I'm not a huge fan of Telegram. If I could get around using Telegram, that'd be great. But unfortunately, it's just
Yeah.
kind of become the hub for crypto trading.
Yeah.
And I think just making it easier for people, because like especially somebody that's brand new, they come to the TokyoMoon swap, and they don't know how to get a hold of these projects. They don't know how to, you know what I mean. Everybody knows to go look on CMS, and everybody knows to search for Telegram. You know what I mean. But if they could just pull up a chart for a coin they're looking at, and right there's a live chat with people
Yeah.
talking about it, where they could ask questions and get information. I think that'd be great for new users and existing users.
Oh, 100%. And like, as kind of our conversation last night was like, if the you can do it is you go to Tokyo Moon, you load up a chart, it asks you to connect your wallet, and it gives you a pop up on the website. What do you want your username to be? And it's temporary. You know what I mean? And it's tied to MetaMask. You can't reveal your wallet account or anything like that. So people can really just go and use MetaMask to chat would be great. Um, Obviously, you'd want to encourage them to be like, yo, make an account, have something here,
Right.
tie your wallet to your username, that type of stuff. But I mean, back in the day, like, when chats were popular, anywhere that I could use ICQ was great, or any other regular chat. But like when I went to like, oh, this chat looks awesome, and there's like 1,000 people in here, and I'm like, I have to register to this website as well, and I go around looking for Gateway N64 ROMs. And every site made me register. It was such a pain in the ass.
Right.
So the more you can streamline it, like, look, you don't have to register, connect your wallet, give us a temporary name, and here you go. But if
Yep.
you do register, here's the benefits. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
into account, like you were saying, you increase your experience. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's what we want to do. We were actually talking about, we're probably going to import this into WordPress.
Yeah.
And then that way we can use that existing database already over top of it. And then exactly like you said, we want to have the option where if you want to, you can sign in. We'll have a actual user dashboard profile page where you can choose to, if you would like, to sign in, and you can save and share different information. Like I said, we were talking about with the watch list with tokens you're looking at, maybe tokens you've recently traded. You could choose to make all this public for other traders. And then maybe they could follow your profile and get ideas on what they want to invest in. And we'll make that optional. And then, like you said, if you want to, just quick and easy, you could just sign in with MetaMask, create a temporary user Sure, and jump into the chat, and even still be able to use some of those profile features that that you would have to use logged in, like certain things like token information that you're holding, and wallet
Yeah.
information, recent trades, etc. So yeah, we definitely want to have that dual functionality there, where you have the option to sign in, get additional features, or you want to keep it simple, just connect your wallet, and we'll use that as your user.
Oh, 100%, man. Like, I think honestly, the most exciting idea in our conversation last night that was like, oh, this is what I want to push your token as, is bringing users in without Telegram and all this other bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I'm like, that's a really big selling point. You open a chart and all there's people chatting about the chart as it's happening. And I'm not in Telegram. I haven't done anything except connect my wallet. Just my value is in there. And I think that's awesome, bro. Like, I'm super stoked on that idea. So
Awesome.
yeah, good
we are
on you
too.
guys.
And yeah, I definitely should have brought it up last night. I just like I said, I kind of spaced on the whole idea until we were talking about it after the fact. The user profiles. I was like, oh yeah, by the way, we're talking about putting these live chats in. You were like, holy shit.
And even beforehand, I'm like, what makes you stand out? Thinking like the thing that you think you're doing different. But I get it, man. Like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of stress. You have a lot of shit going on. And here's some people trying to make you think about a bunch of marketing shit that you're like, if you had a proper company going, you would hire somebody else to do. You know what I mean? But as it is, you're the face of the company, and hopefully you find people who like support you and are like willing to like shout your voice out there. And like, to be honest, you did a great job, man. It was killer yesterday. And yeah, I mean, this thing is something I'm bringing out to people as well. And like people I brought in there yesterday, like Irish and Achilles with their groups, like they're all good people, and like they're gonna follow this project. And like, I wasn't expecting everybody to ape in yesterday, but we've laid the groundwork that when they hear that name, they know what your project is, and they say, "Oh shit, they've doubled to $60 million or $60,000 in LP. These guys are going somewhere." They're gonna start sending that to that group, and they're gonna start getting the word out there. So the fact that we got you guys on a bunch of like really good people's investment portfolios to watch, it's all just like, it's all growth, man. It's all growth from here on up.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is for people that are here that are new, this is going to be a long-term investment. But what we're thinking is going to happen is probably with each feature release, we're looking to set a new floor. We're just going to keep building on the platform, bringing features in that you guys want to see. That's why we have the feature request button there. Again, just if you pull up the swap, you just hit feature request. If there's stuff that you want to see in here, just fill out this form. Fill out as many or as few as you like. You can submit multiple forms. And we're going to collect that data, and we're going to work towards getting whatever features that you guys want to see in here done first. Like I said, we do have a lot of our own ideas. For example, the social profiles and live chats and different things that we have.
Yeah.
We're still figuring out what's in the realm of possibility, but for the most part, if we can dream it, we can pretty much build it. So I think.
I mean,
Yeah.
Something else Colton didn't bring up is I also implemented. It's functioning, but it's not attached to the swap button yet. But we're going to search the token that if you put like a custom token in, we're going to search that token's contract against other known honeypot and rug type contracts. And
nice.
and when you hit swap, it's going to come up and it's going to say this token has been has known code. I don't know exactly what it's going to say yet, but it's going to say something letting you know that you might be buying a honeypot,
Yeah,
and you got to accept that.
the way
But
I'm
you can
looking
turn
to
that off. You have
implement
the
it.
option to turn that off as well.
The way I'm looking to implement it would be like here, whenever you hit the search, for example, if we hit search TokyoMoon here, it's going to bring up your custom token information here, the name, the symbol, the market cap, all that good stuff. And then I'll just have like a risk level, maybe like a risk level 1 through 5, something like that along those
Yeah.
lines. And then if you wanted to see more information about why that's displayed, you could click it and see, okay, potential honeypot, or maybe even have a separate thing like, hey, this is a potential honeypot. And things like that. We definitely want to provide more information right there on the custom thing. It's kind of slacking at the moment, but we are building it.
That's awesome, man. And like, we were kind of talking yesterday. I was like, what are the chances that you could build this? Like, the social platform is good. I'm like, you can expand it. You can see other people's what they're trading. You know what I mean? So people can be like, hey, what are you trading? And you can be like, yo. And, obviously, like Facebook, your privacy concerns will be like, I'm willing to give like I'll show people what I'd be trading in the last week and my gains and volumes, but maybe I don't want to show the exact amount of money I put in. I just want to show them a percentage. Like I went up 6% trading this. I bought here and sold then. We were kind of talking about the social media aspect of it. I'm curious, how far do you guys want to dive down that hole? Because you could go, it's a lot of programming and a lot of database work, but you could dive down into that hole, like I was saying about like where you kind of start copy trading. And if you're having people rate other reviewer or other investors, like, yo, this guy here, Captain Nobody, he's fucking throwing in like a crazy man. He's making big gains. I just want to follow his portfolio. And then you can go in and see what they're doing and like comment on them. How far down that hole of social media are you guys looking to go? Because, yesterday we were kind of, once you start adding profiles, you're kind of becoming a social media platform. Do you guys really want to fully embrace that potentially and have growth in the community where everyone's like trying to help each other out and following the best traders, or just spitballing and wondering
Yeah,
here?
I mean, I think it's a really cool idea.
No, we want to get as big as we can.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna keep building on it, and if that's what people like, and if that's what people want to see, then yeah, absolutely, we're gonna keep building on it. And I think it's a really cool idea, and I feel like it'll probably start off a little slow as far as growth on the actual utilization of the social media part, but once people get more familiar with it and start seeing the utility in it, I think it could probably pick up pretty quick.
Yeah.
And obviously the more people we have interested, the easier it makes it to get the work done as well. As
Yeah.
far as the amount of engagement we get.
Yeah,
And
I
we'd
mean,
be
the thing
using
is,
your
go ahead, Superfo.
we'd be using we'd be using your wallet as like your profile. You could
Yeah.
change it. It's like a picture and stuff. So you could have like a dedicated wallet, just for TokyoMoon. Just and that could be like your profile wallet, sort of say.
Yeah. I mean, I think your big issue is going to be is like, if somebody's on there like, yo, I don't mind showing what I'm trading, but then, he's got his name and it's, Matthew C. like myself or something. And it's like, yo, he just did an $18,000 buy on this token. Then people can go and track my wallet. That starts to cause complications in the real life. But, I think kind of separating, allowing people to see BSC transactions, but allowing them to see, amount invested to a certain degree or what they're willing to show is,
That'll be
really
up to the
interesting.
user.
I think
Yeah,
honestly
the user
something
has
Exactly.
that.
That's what I mean. Everyone sets their own privacy settings like
Exactly.
Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
I think. Go ahead.
sorry, I was gonna say as far as like tracking, so like what I would like to do probably initially, where I'm gonna gear it towards, and then we could build on it, but it would be more like, so say you make a trade, maybe you decide you want to show not the exact trade, it doesn't have your transaction ID, it just says, for under your profile it shows, you made this trade, and maybe you made, like you said, a percentage, like maybe I made 20% on this trade this
Exactly.
week, or I made 100%.
Yeah.
No specific information, but just kind of general, like, oh, I invested here, I lost this much, or I invested here, I gained this much.
100%. And that was kind of what I was thinking was, okay, guys like, hey, this morning at a certain time I traded and I made back money in the amount of time. My wallet and I bought and sold, like all that adds a lot of value. And then further down the line, if you guys really want to run with that sort of system, you can get into like where you've got. So I was on each, which is like a penny trading site in Canada here, and I bought into Bitcoin and all this stuff until they forced me to get out. But it was like I could literally go on and see who the top traders were, who the top reviewed guys were. And if you're going to build this community of people who are traders and like this guy does this guy does this, you can start having people who are like willing to give their information and share their knowledge and share the portfolio to people in the crypto space. And people come around like, man, I just made 1,000 beans. I'm going to tip this guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you start to add community incentive at that point for people to be like willing to share their trades and not hold on to that tight information and share their knowledge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a cool idea. That's a really cool idea, honestly.
Yeah, because if you make your account public, then people's gonna have your wallet anyways, and they can just send you whatever.
We could even keep the
If you're-
wallet. It wouldn't be that hard to
Yeah.
obfuscate the wallet. It could just be like, you have a user profile that you set a username
Well,
for.
yeah, or the
And
profile.
you just say, hey,
Yep,
I would like to
exactly.
send Matt, I followed Matt's trade and I made 10 BNB. I'm going to send Matt a 0.5 tip. And you just click your user and you can make the transfer that way. You wouldn't even have to actually necessarily make your wallet information public.
It would just have to talk back to MetaMask or whatever you're used to connect that account to your browser, right?
Exactly.
So,
We could do that in the
but I
code
mean, like,
though, in the back end. So basically it'd say Matt. The code would go, okay, Matt equals this wallet, and then make all its adjustments that
exactly.
way.
Yeah. Which, like, I think the one thing that's missing in the BEC space is kind of a little bit of accountability, a little bit of openness and honesty, and not a lot of great social platforms. There's talk of places like Ember and Bonfire that wanted to do social media, and everyone's there, but it's like you have to be like a Bonfire holder to do that. You know what I mean? And ideally, you guys just, if you can create a social media platform that whether you're a Bonfire holder or not, you can use, but you need a little bit of Bonfire to trade, people are going to come to your site and use it regardless and build a profile and follow around and see what's going on. And then at some point, probably use it to swap because it's going to make their life a lot easier to be on the platform in the chat and swap it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you start to add all these community benefits to people that are like wanting to help each other out, and there's not a lot like that in this space, man. Like I've looked at the copy trading and the stock space and all that, and it's all very extreme. And I don't know why it hasn't been done here, but shit like that I think that would pop off, man.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it'd be, and as far on talking about needing to hold a certain amount of the tokens, we have decided. I know we talked about implementing the need to hold a small amount of TokyoMoon to even swap on the alpha. We decided to leave that out for now. We may add it a little bit, maybe halfway through the alpha test. We'll put it in just to show you guys, a small example of how we can show utilization of the token. We decided for today, we'll just leave it open. So if anybody wants to come on and try it out, they can. But yeah, and there may be features down the road, certain maybe profile or premium features that we may lock behind, holding a certain amount of tokens, but all that's still being figured out at this time. But we definitely plan to add, more and more utility to the token as we build the platform. I know one thing we've talked about a lot is like reduced trading fees if you hold X amount of TokyoMoon and etc. Possibly even like we were talking about, doing a reflection, like a kickback of each trade as a percentage, based on how much TokyoMoon you have. All these things are possible. So we're in the building and playing stage right now, pretty much. Just seeing, like I said, what we want to put in first, what we like the most, what the community likes the most, and just kind of building on that.
I just I got off there.
Yeah, you chop it up pretty bad. You got a robot.
I was just like, yeah.
You cut out again, Matt. Oh, we can't hear you. Get it?
I'm back. I don't know why my phone is doing this. Yeah, no, I think it makes sense to not be to own any of your token right now. But I think later on down the road, as you add services, much like Bog does, like, okay, you can use a sniper bot if you own this much, you can use this much if you have this much. Because in the end, like, you're spending money and you're programming and providing a service, people should be invested in you at least a little bit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't think you have to be doing anything like that now, but I think later on down the road, you're like, yo, look at this free shit. I think you should maybe have like $25 of us held in your wallet because you're investing in us and you're using our services, right? So,
Sure.
But I think that makes total sense.
Yeah, I think like one of the things that I would like to add in is like I said, the tax breakdown and stuff like that, like trade breakdown, the ability to be able to export that, into like an XML file or something like that, where we could print off and have it used easily for tax. I feel like that would be a good early premium feature to have, amongst a couple other things that we're playing.
100%, 100%. I mean that's mostly done on bigger websites like cointracker.io and shit like that. I don't know if you've looked at any of that.
I have poked around
but
a few of them.
Yeah, okay. It tells me I have $262 million of ARM token. So I don't know how I can afford my taxes this year, but I'm in trouble.
Right. and obviously, excuse me, we're gonna create a filter for that kind of junk. I mean, I know like in like PooCoin, for example, right now it pulls up all those tokens and shows you like, oh, you got $60,000 in this scam coin, and they give you the option to delete it. We're gonna do that, but I would like to create like an automated filter for those as well, so you don't even have to, log in and go, holy shit, $60,000. It'll just automatically remove that junk from your list.
Yeah, if it's not in your
Yeah,
wallet
no.
on BSC, if it's not in your wallet, then it's not going to get shown.
Right, but I'm
No,
talking about the
that
airdrop
makes
coins,
sense.
the airdrop scam coins that pop up as well.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, so in regards to my 5 wallets I've added, and this is between Binance, Crypto.com, MetroCoin, and MetaMask. I have a bunch of wallets, right?
Right.
And it did like CoinTracker.io did a really fantastic job of tracking most of it. But ARM, which was the project I was invested in, it was never airdropped to me, nothing, but it was a scam. But for some reason in its evaluation, it took out that I owned that much of that. So like, I'm trying to go into CoinTrack and figure out how can I adjust the actual rate, and it's very complicated for me. And I think it also has a bit of a problem with like rebase tokens and stuff like that. So, I mean, if you guys are able to compensate for that type of stuff that these big coin trackers aren't, that's a huge selling feature for you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot to track the BSC space. Don't get me wrong, and I understand why their software is having problems for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot a lot of data to try and sort through and filter through. So yeah, it's not going to be a quick and easy task, but it is something that I definitely think would be beneficial to the platform. In the end. So again, these things we're talking about, none of this is going to happen overnight, but we will keep constant updates going to this thing and new features added. And like I said, for any of you that are interested or invested, just keep checking back in for the updates. We'll keep you guys updated all along the way. We're going to be doing a community AMA every week, showing new updates and features we've added, getting feedback from you guys in real time. So yeah, we'll basically be building this thing with you guys, which is actually really cool and a lot of fun.
That's sick, bro. I'm so stoked. So when can I expect your copy trading social media super platform? 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
2 days from now.
Yeah, we'll have it done by tomorrow. Check about this time tomorrow. No, but yeah, I mean, I know Supa's already started working. Like the moment we talked about it, he actually started working on some of the back end placeholders and base functionality for it. So I would I hope to have like at least an early version of the profile page. I would say in a month or so, maybe less. Just like I said, like an early version where you basically just click on profile, and probably initially it'll just show you recent trade information and stuff like that based on your wallet. But yeah, I would say roughly maybe a month till we start getting like the first version of that put out to where we want to show people. Again, none of these dates are set in stone yet because the development process is a bit unpredictable. Sometimes you run into issues and you end up troubleshooting that one issue for much longer than you would think you would. So it's hard to give an exact time and date. But once we reach a closer release version for that, we'll definitely let you guys know.
Bro, that's amazing. That's a way better answer. I thought you were just gonna tell me off and ban me. So the fact
Get out of here, man.
You want to try and get something to show people within a month is fantastic. And like nobody expects hard dates, but giving them like a little like, okay, in the next month we're gonna see some like cool utility. Even just screenshots or samples of it goes a long way to like these devs are busting their fucking ass here. And to me, like that's one of the reasons why I'm in deep on this. This is one of the reasons I tell people about it. I'm like, yo, these guys are working for your fucking money. A lot of this space is just fucking hype. I'm like, let's see what people that are like fucking here to work can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so like,
man.
respect, man. Like, you guys are killing it.
Yeah,
we can have a roadmap link that would show all like the commits. I don't know if you know what a commit is, like all the commits or patch notes, that type of thing.
So basically,
I posted one the other day.
Yeah, what he's talking about is every time that we send we send an update to the code in GitHub, it's called a commit, and we can actually make that information publicly available where you guys can actually go and see changes that they're happening like real time, or we could integrate it into a feed into the website where you could view recent commits, and that way you guys can actually watch the development process happening real time. Like, oh, they just pushed an update for user profiles token list or something. Oh, cool. So that means they're working on the token list for the user profile and stuff like that. And we actually were playing around with the idea of possibly coming in here and maybe even doing some like live streaming. I don't know if anybody would actually be interested in watching it because it's definitely far from like watching sports or something. But if anybody wanted to
I
come
watch
in,
people code all the time.
yeah, well, we're nerds. Not everyone's nerdy as we are, but if people would be interested, I mean, we're talking about coming in and actually live streaming some of the development process and just talking to people while we do it. I thought maybe that'd be kind of fun.
Honestly, dude, like I think that would be really good for you guys. Like, back when we started our channel, like we were, I think, most successful and just had a great community when, Mike was always in the voice chat because his day job allowed him to just hang out in there. So people would just come in and they would just chat and they would start to build and foster these relationships. And, like currently in my channel, most of that is limited to when I'm doing an AMA and we can get everyone in there and we can joke around and people are like, oh, you're okay. So, even if you put on a programming live stream, nobody has to understand the programming, but they come in and they can watch the dev actively work on a project, whether they understand or not, but they also get to hang out with someone as long as Superpool is cool to chat with people. All that is going to build like, man, we're just doing a dev stream. Devs in here, come in and hang out. Will massively build your community and really show the work ethic that you guys have. So I think that's a fucking solid idea.
Yeah, I thought about doing that, but I didn't know if it would be something stupid or something. So I kind of just keep the work like in the background.
That's it, man. If you're cool with like just talking to random strangers and entertaining a bit, if people come in and they're like, they're not interested in watching it, but they're happy there's someone in voice chat and they want to socialize. As long as you got somebody there who can like socialize with them,
Yep.
I think it's going to be half that battle. But building the community, like that's the more that you guys can be on here, obviously the better it is, man. I think that's dope. Like I want to understand what you're programming, but I'll come in here and like hang out with you for a bit while you're doing it, and then probably ask you a bunch of questions until you mute and ban me then, because you'd be like, I'm trying to program and do smart people shit. But it'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, we'll just devote that time. We'll expect not to get nothing accomplished, just talking. But
Yeah, I think it'd be fun for people to come in and actually see the process happening. Maybe then people will understand why it takes a little bit to develop it too, because it's like you change one thing and then 3 other things break, and then you spend however much time it takes to figure out why it broke, what broke it, what needs to be changed here and there. It's a process.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if you don't note stuff as you go, like I'm going back trying to note stuff out because we got a lot of code now. It's getting bigger by the minute, and I don't know what the fuck this does, but you got to comment stuff while you go, or you lose track, and then that's half the battle.
I think the thing is too, like I don't know how comfortable you are talking in public, super cool, but you watch these guys who do like some sort of super nerdy technology thing, and their beginning YouTube channel videos are just like them like nerd talking for way too long and they don't follow. And then you look at them like 2 years later, and they like, here's the problem I'm trying to solve, and here's why, and they bring it down to layman's terms and people understand and are then invested, even though they don't understand the specific technical side of it. People get into that,
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I enjoy that shit. I'm like, man, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but I understand the problem you have, and you're trying to find a solution. So I'm gonna follow you for that shit.
Right.
I like
I like watching people make samurai swords. I don't mean I know how to do it,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh, you guys just said something out, but said something else, but I'm drawing a blank on what my thought on it was. Oh, yes. So you were talking about the, showing people what you guys want to do in the GitHub space of upcoming changes. I'm sure you will both know the name of it, but what is the software platform where you can log development software changes that you would like to do and then make it publicly accessible for people to look at and see where you're at in the current state? It's relatively big.
Yeah, it's GitHub. Is that what you're thinking? GitHub tracks.
No, I think. Yeah, I think GitHub does it, but I think there was one that was
Kanban.
before. What is it?
Kanban.
Oh maybe. I'll find the name of it. But
It's
it
like
literally
boards,
like
right?
you're like here. You could show the problems you want to have, and then also pick people, select the ones that you think you should work on first, but then you can also update them in the timeline of the blocks of like what you're working on and where you're at in it. Be like,
Yeah.
oh, another bug discovered here, and it was very
Mhm.
publicly accessible. So I'd say in the last 5 to 10 years, I saw a lot of software companies doing it as they were doing like early access games on Steam and stuff like that to
Cool.
show that development was happening, right? But I mean,
Right.
if GitHub does that and it's like nice and people can understand it without it being too nerdy, like that's great, man. It's like, hey, yo, legit, we're working here. You can see in our software developments. Nobody's that transparent in this space, man. It's all bells
Yeah.
and whistles until hopefully something comes out, right? So
Yeah. What it is, anytime we push or change, I guess, in code in our normal, anytime we change code, we got to leave a note, a message to like, I'll leave a message to some guy saying what I did. And that's what you guys will see is what I did, what I left there. So I could put it in, layman's terms or anything, which would make it more transparent that
yeah,
way
that's
as
awesome.
well.
I shouldn't be coming to these anymore. I think I talk too much, hey?
No,
Some
no.
guy.
I'm glad
Not
you
at all.
should, but sometimes I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I ask for questions and I kind of run out of things to talk about, and you could talk all day, so it's like the perfect combination. I can answer questions all day. It's just hard to come up with my own topics off the top of my head. After I say what I gotta say, I'm kind of like, all right, so.
Yeah, well, it was funny talking to Irish yesterday because I was like, I think that went really good, like all this stuff. He's like, man, it went great. I was like, I don't know, man, there wasn't a lot of questions, but I think it's good. He's like, no, man. He's like, when I can go to an AMA and I don't have a question and nobody else has a question afterwards, he's like, I know that was a well-run AMA, and I was like, shut up, you're lying to me. But it was good. I was like, we covered a lot of shit. I think questions got answered, so no.
No, you did great, and I hope I did an okay job of getting everything answered. I guess we did, like you said, since we covered most of the bases. So I think all in all, it went well for sure.
So has anybody in
Yeah,
here tried the moon swap yet? Have you had everything went all right with it?
Yeah, I managed to play some TokyoMoon with it.
Nice.
Cool. How about mobile?
No,
I
It's
personally
smoothly.
haven't tried it on mobile.
Mobile's broken. I know for a fact
Mobile's like,
I'm just
okay.
but I'll go give it a shot.
Yeah, I know mobile's broken. There's something wrong with the MetaMask call right now, so it won't allow you to connect. The layout's messed up, and the actual connect to MetaMask is messed up. But like I said, that's a top priority. We'll get that figured out the next few days.
Yeah, that's probably something simple.
Also look into. I'd like to make that fixed and also simultaneously get the Trust Wallet and Wallet Connection in there as well. Which none of that I think is going to be too complicated. We just wanted to get the desktop version smoothed out as much as possible before we send it out there to you guys. So apologize to anyone that tries to go to it on mobile right now. I know it looks like a dog ass, but we will have it fixed soon.
And one bug that pops up sometimes, not very often, is like when you go to type in an amount on the amount of tokens you want to buy, and NAN will come up. What NAN means is the server's not responding, and it's just that's not something we're doing. So all you'd have to do is hit refresh.
Actually, I think
page.
we have that fixed. I added a fix in for that.
Yeah, we
so
pretty much have it fixed. It hasn't happened since we've think we fixed it, but if it does happen, that's just hit refresh.
Also, this
or try it again, or type another number in.
Another thing is, see there, it takes a second just to pull up the price there and propagate it. But these are all running on test servers as well. But by the time we get to a release version, I'll actually have multiple nodes set up as well as upgraded servers. So some of these like funny little performance things, like where it just takes a second to pull the price, that should all improve by release version. That's just a matter of upgrading the backend hardware and etc.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt. I'm an early investor. I think Matthew sort of showed it to me, and I was convinced. But to be honest with you guys, I have no idea what I invested in. I just sort of know that the team is trustworthy, and the project looks legit with a utility. So if you don't mind briefly explaining about the project. just briefly.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you can see here, we're working towards building an entire platform. Now, this was the first part of that platform. Is the TokyoMoon swap. What we just released today is our first alpha public release test version. It's fully functional. You can search any token on BSC and trade it currently. Mobile is broken at the moment. We're aware. We'll have that sorted out in the near future. But the project in general is going to start with a DEX. We're going to build it. Once we have that closer to a released version, we're going to start implementing other features, some of which we've already started laying the groundwork for. We want to have user profiles where you have an option. You can actually make an account on the website and sign in with like a username and password, or if you want to keep it simple, you can use your MetaMask wallet or whatever wallet connect feature you use to act as your user profile. And we actually want to start gearing it towards a bit of a kind of like a social platform. We want to have once we expand out on the decks, we want to have live charts as well as live chats pinned to whatever chart you're viewing at the time. So it'll kind of cut out the need for Telegram if you don't feel like using it at the time, or you just want to hop in and view a live chart and talk to people that are also viewing that chart, kind of like you would in Telegram already. Just cuts out all the extra steps. Excuse me. And then we want to keep building on the platform, adding lots of other little custom features, different things, kind of like Pancake Swap has like predictions and lottery. We're going to be building our own little fun games and different ways you can wager BNB or different types of crypto. And we actually, I think that's cool about this project is we're building it kind of right now with you guys. So as you can see here in the alpha, we've got the feature request button. If there's things that you would like to see on a DEX or you'd like to see on a swap that aren't other places, or things that you love from other swaps and DEXs that you would like to see implemented here in some way or another, you can hit that feature request button. You can fill out as few or as many of these, or you can submit the form multiple times if you got a lot of ideas. So we're going to be collecting data and information and trying to implement the features that the community wants to see first. We're going to if I could talk, we're going to prioritize those and try to get them in as quickly as possible, along with some of the other ideas that we have of our own.
Cool, man. Sounds good. Well, thank you for explaining.
Yeah. Hopefully I explained it clearly. If you got any other questions, just let me know.
So do you have like a marketing budget, for the development of the project and the marketing?
We do. We have a marketing wallet. And we haven't been spending a ton of it lately because we've been holding off. We're actually, for one, we wanted to get more of a product done to show people before we started spending more marketing money. And two, I'm not sure. I know some of you have caught this from yesterday, but we're actually 99% sure we're going to be teaming up with DGEM as part of their platform. They offer marketing services, so we'll actually be utilizing them. They have a team of it's quite a lot of people that they have recruited for this specific utility that they offer, and it's basically an entire marketing team. We give them part of our budget, and they spend it, and we'll be working marketing pretty much 24/7 around the clock for us, and that will allow us to focus less on the marketing aspect and focus more on the development aspect. So while they're handling the marketing side of things, they'll actually send in people to help in Telegram as well, to answer questions, to help moderate the chat, to keep the voice chat open, because it's hard for us to be in voice chat constantly and also be developing. So like I said, that'll take a lot of pressure off of us and help us keep moving with the development process. And I think it'll be probably it should be a mutually beneficial partnership, I believe, in the long run.
Cool, man. Sounds good. And one last question: what's the estimated ETA for the final, product to be released?
The final product, it's hard to give an exact release date just yet because there's a lot of things we want to add to it and get cleaned up. I don't actually even want to say a date at this moment as far as when I think the final version will be done. Like I said, this is the early alpha release. We'll build on this, and then once we have enough features and enough quality of life changes in this, and everything's functioning properly, both mobile and desktop, we'll bump up to the beta version. Once we're at the beta version, we'll continue, smoothing things out, adding a few more features, making sure everything's functioning properly, get enough users in to test it, and make sure everyone's happy with their experience here. And then once we make it to that early to mid beta phase, we'll have a more set date for the actual final release version for the swap.
Okay, cool, man. Thank you
Yeah,
for answering my question.
but development's been picking up a lot. It's been each day we learn more. Like I was saying yesterday, it's like for every one problem that we fix, we find the answer for 3 questions. So it's gonna keep progressing. I think the actual development process will keep snowballing as we keep building. So I'd like to tell you for sure we'll have a release version in 2 months, but that's a nice goal I think for us to have. But I don't want to say anything for sure at this point. Anybody else have any other questions or feedback? You love it? You hate it? What do you think? This is why we need you, Matt.
Just a quick one. Do we
I
have
love
a
it.
Reddit account
Surprise.
set up?
No, actually, that's another thing we're gonna be gearing towards this week. I'm gonna get us a Discord server set up. We'll get a subreddit set up. I've got the YouTube channel up now. That's in the pins where this AMA will be hosted. Will be uploaded as well as our past 2 AMAs. Also with DGM coming on, we're gonna be doing a large AMA in their Telegram, maybe in about a week. And I would like to branch out to a couple other groups and see if we can't get some more AMAs rolling, because these seem to have the best impact and the most outreach over almost any other kind of marketing that we've done. So I'd like to just keep scheduling and getting into different groups and communities and talking to them and telling them what we're about.
I am here. Sorry, I could not reply fast enough. I was unpacking my.
All good, man. But yeah, this week will
I mean,
be
let's
gearing
be honest.
towards.
I think the sooner you guys get yourself onto Discord and Telegram, you start to add a lot of authenticity to your project as well. You know what I mean? I see
Yeah,
projects that only live on Telegram, and you look at Bonfire and Saquon that have 100,000 people in their Discord all the time, and you're like, man, this is how you do it.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is how people really care about you in a legitimate way, not just a pump and dump way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We want to build out every social profile. We want to get a Medium set up, a Facebook set up, Discord set up, subreddit set up. We already have the Twitter, but want to start spending more time on that, getting more posts out there. Definitely. Again, things have kind of, I don't want to say things came to a halt with marketing, etc., but we just really wanted to focus on development for about the past week and a half, and that's what we've been doing, just grinding this development process. So in the coming week, we'll be divvying up work for different people and getting more done as far as the social profiles and outreach in that aspect.
That's awesome, bro. Well, if you need the help with like mods or anything like that too, let me know. I'm sure we got a couple buddies who've probably invested and might be willing to hop in here
Yeah,
and
awesome.
there and help keep the peace and answer questions and shit too, right?
Definitely, man. I appreciate that. And I'll probably take you up on that. At least reach out to your group and see if anyone would be interested.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, we're going to bump up our marketing a little bit now that we actually have something to show people. Because if you don't have something to show people, they're going to think you're full of crap anyways. So
Yeah, well, we got to the point after the first couple of days where we didn't have the actual product ready to show, and we would throw money at marketing. We would get a pump from it, and then people would just turn around and just dump on the pump. So it's like it was a waste of marketing funds at that point. So we're like, all right, let's just kind of squirrel fund this money until we have something to show, and once we have more of a product to show, then we can start pushing marketing more, and then it'll help us avoid some of those traders that are just looking for the real quick 2x in and out. We can actually show them that we are building this thing, show them the progress that we're making, and then hopefully keep them interested to stay updated for updates along the way, and to actually hold their bag and let this thing grow a bit.
Well, I think that's honestly a really strong point, and something that I think I brought up yesterday was like the fact that like you guys did like a fair launch, got a little bit of movement up and down, up and down. You went up, people sold their bags, and you moved to the right, and you've kept moving to the right. I'm like, for you guys to, already have launched and you have a relatively stable chart, I was like, that shows you the strength of your community. And I think that's one of the good things you guys have going for you is like your transparency, your openness, your willingness to be like, yo, this might have fucked up, but we're going to do this. And what do you guys think about this? So everybody here that is either buying the dips or holding their bags are people that are like, yo, we have a real team here. Because like I've seen it time and time again, people launch the first project and they just want to dump money into marketing, get the big pump and find like a super high floor and it's too high and then it dumps and then they have no money and their chart dies
Right.
and that's it. Like the fact that you guys recognize, oh, we put money into marketing, it's not working out. Okay, let's back off. Maybe do a little bit here, a little bit there. That's a long way to your instincts on this project for sure. Because a
Sure.
lot of people panic when they don't get that first big bump and they keep going and they keep going, they dump everything in. The organic growth tells a lot about your project.
Yeah, and it's really cool because you can literally watch the progression in the chart. You see, obviously we had the first couple of days where like you said, we were up and down all over the place, and then we had sideways action for quite a while, and during that period, we really gained a nice, not just not really so much the price floor, but the floor of investors, people that were actually interested, that stuck around, that wanted to see the product, wanted to see that we were making progress, and it reflects directly in the chart. I mean, the first pump there after that sideways movement, that was the demonstration of what we had before this version, just the pure bare bones functionality. And you can see, obviously almost right away, maybe old investors came back, maybe we got some new investors in. I know a lot of people from your group saw it and they liked what they saw. That you know and you can see it just kind of progresses there. We give another little update and we create a new floor, and then we made our way to where we are today. I mean, we're up from below $50,000 market cap up to almost 250 now. It's incredible, just by showing the progress we've made, and we're going to keep building on it. And that's the way I think it's going to go. It's just going to be I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll blast off, which would be fine too. But I'm okay with just keep releasing new versions and getting a higher floor each time, and hopefully more and more users to the platform at the same time.
Oh hell yeah, buddy! You know me, I'm stoked on this.
Yeah, brother. Thanks a lot, man. And again, we really appreciate all your support. It really means a lot to us. And everyone else that showed up, thank you for your questions and your time. It means a lot for you guys to be here.
I just wish I had like twice the amount of followers to get your project in the eyes of.
Hey, that's all right, man. We'll get there. Like I said, I want to keep branching out, and with DJM handling majority of the marketing moves, the time consuming stuff, that will leave us time, not just for development but also to network with other projects, form partnerships, and set up AMAs and do that kind of thing.
Man, I think that's a great partnership for you guys. So, um, anyways, I gotta bounce out of here, brother. Sorry, I only caught the second half of that. Just been running around with the pop bullshit and everything else going on. But
No, all
yeah,
good,
really
man.
well done. I'm super stoked, man. Super stoked on what you guys are doing. So keep it up. We'll keep talking.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks a lot for stopping by, man. Take it easy.
Anytime, anytime. Okay, peace out, guys.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else have questions, comments? You get to?
Matt is so cool.
Yeah, Matt's awesome. Super cool guy. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the recording here. We're just past that hour mark. I'll try to keep these recordings under an hour. So, anyone that's tuned in and is listening still, thank you. We appreciate it, and we hope you liked what you saw. If you have any questions, feel free to jump in the Telegram. You can message me directly at some guy or any of the team members. Thanks a lot. Take it easy.